My name is Cassandra White. If I tell you, and if I sit here and tell you that using drugs was all that, I'm lying. I was 13 when I first tried PCP, and from there, from 13 and then 15, I left home and I pretty much never went back. How can you say you're not tricking when you slept with guys that if you were sober, you know damn well you wouldn't have slept with them, man? After 16 years of being down in Town 20, my house finally got busted. And then I remember, so I ended up trying to kill myself. And the strap broke. One thing about me is, I really didn't ask my family for anything. I was like the one who, I started young doing drugs, so none of them were like me, like on the streets or nothing. I never knew how to live. And that's how my whole process has been for 8 years. I've been doing all of this for My name is Cassandra White. I was known as Sandy.
Miss Sandy.
Yes.
So can you give us just a little background on yourself, Miss Sandy? As far as what you got going on today, right now, current.
So today, I work for Anne Arundel County government, and I'm currently in college, which is something that I never thought would happen for me. I dropped out of school in the 9th grade. I recently got a certificate from Anne Arundel County Community College because I got a 4.0. That is also something that I had to pat myself on the back for. I couldn't even believe that. I couldn't even imagine in my wildest dreams. I took up 2 summer classes. I'm working a part-time job as a waitress, and I'm just striving every day. Some days I got good days, some days I got bad days. I also suffer from mental health, so I have to make sure that my mental health, and I juggle at least 1 day or 1 hour with self-care. My self-care is, for me, is just to take a meditation, and it has to consist of watching TV or just listening to gospel music. I try to listen to my gospel music at least every morning going to work. If I don't do these things for myself, then I can find myself spiraling backwards, and I have to stay healthy mentally to be healthy, be a healthy woman on a daily basis.
So what song you putting on to get the day started?
My favorite gospel singer is Mahalia Jackson. And the reason that is because I grew up with Mahalia Jackson from my grandmother. I love Mahalia Jackson. Anything that Mahalia Jackson sings just gets me started. I love old gospel music. It just something, it does something to my soul.
Yeah, it definitely give you that feeling, definitely. So let's take it back to baby Sandy. I want to go all the way back. Where was you born at, Sandy?
I was born in PG County.
Okay.
It was Old Glendale, Bowie. I grew up with, I went to James McHenry Elementary School. I'm a biracial child, grew up in the 70s. Back then, it wasn't popular. I also believe, I also know now. I I was, I don't know exactly when it started happening, but I was diagnosed with manic bipolar and I had a lot of schizophrenia. And on top of that, I had identity issues. The black kids didn't want to play with me too much, and the white kids didn't want to play with me. The black kids felt like my hair was different, and the white kids felt like I just was a little bit too dark. So when all of that was happening, it just made me angry. I was angry all my life. And so I fought. I just fought. I beat you up. I became a bully. I got beat up. And that's how my life just spiraled. When I was 13, PCP was the most popular thing in PG County. And then when I was introduced to that, it just took all my troubles away. It took the voices away in my head. It took the depression away. It took me not feeling like I gotta fit in. It just made me feel like I was just normal. It also made me feel like I just didn't care. I didn't care what you thought, how you thought it. And that's when my addiction just went on and just set off for me.
So what are some steps that kind of led you into taking like PCP and stuff? Like, what was happening, like before you really started to engage really?
I think I started to go towards the crowd that allowed me to fit in. The crowd that also were struggling with different types of, what can I say? How can I say it? Things that might have been happening to them. Crowds that just didn't care, or they probably did care, whatever struggles that they were going through. Crowds that hung out, crowds that whatever was going on with them at home. I remember having a friend who was always running away from home. That was when you're younger and you gravitate, whatever struggles that you're going through, you tend to gravitate to friends that are also struggling with whatever that you may be struggling with. And even though you're not discussing it among each other, those are the people that you gravitate to. And so me and my girlfriend, we tried it together, and we both liked it. Sometimes I wonder where she went in life. I remember her mom shipping her off to Virginia. My life went a separate way and hers went another way, but after that, my mom started putting me in and out of mental institutions.
What was that experience like?
The first one I went into, it was Prince George's Hospital. I was with a lot of adults. I was the only child. They kept putting me on different types of medication. When it first happened, I was angry with my parents. I didn't understand why they were doing it. Back then, mental health wasn't a thing that you really discussed. It was just put them on a lot of medicine, and that was just supposed to solve the problem. I don't remember really having therapy about it. It wasn't like, okay, this was her problem, and let's try to, continue up on it. Let's just put her on a bunch of medicine, and then that's going to be the issue. So as soon as I left there, it was right back to the PCP. And then I just started running away from home. My mom didn't know how to deal with it. So from there, I stayed on the streets. I was on the streets from
So was this? I'm sorry to cut you off. Is this in the '80s or you moving into like the '90s right now?
just,
Because you said you was in the '70s. You were born, correct?
yep, born in 71, went into the 80s. I was 13 when I first tried PCP. And from there, from 13 and then 15, I left home and I pretty much never went back.
So looking back now, like what was the times like back then though? Like in age as far as like doing the drugs and things like that. Was PCP like a really popular drug at that time?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So
And then crack cocaine hit when it really hit, it was just freebasing. When I was 19, that really wasn't a thing. That's when the Jamaicans came in. And for me, the most popular thing to do was to like just hang with them, let them. So everyone thought I was like, I guess like the pretty girl. So me, I'm running from drug dealer to drug dealer to get my free PCP. I'm on the streets. And so I'm learning how to do all of these things and seeing everything. So then it went from that to I did eventually go back home when I was 19. My parents moved to Churchton, and I thought it was the worst thing going from the city going to down to Churchton. And so I met up with a drug dealer there, and we moved to, y'all used to call it Boston Heights. It just changed to Admiral Oaks. And he was a really big drug dealer, kind of undercover. He was just selling to everyone else in Annapolis. So I started stealing his drugs because I wanted to put all the coke on the PCP. And
now, was that something that you just tried, like mixing them together, or was that something that was
I did it
shown
with
to
a
you?
girl.
Okay.
And then one day I didn't have no PCP, and I remember being in all the different crack houses with all the dealers all them years, and I smoked it and I thought it was the best thing that ever happened. Like, oh my gosh, I remember people saying, you hear the ringer or whatever, and you hear people down the street, and I swore by God I heard everybody. So I'm like, okay. And it just spiraled from there. It just took off. And from 21 all the way to 44, it was an adventure. It started off, I guess you can say, I don't know if you can really say it went from terror to learning how to, I want to say, if I tell you, and if I sit here and tell you that using drugs was all bad, I'm lying. If anybody tells you that, then they would say, I don't know what anybody else say. I'm getting ready to contradict myself. What I'm gonna say for me, I had fun partying. I had my good days partying, and I remember one time this old man said in my head, whatever you do, try to be the best at it. So I took that and I ran with it. And I wanted to be the best cocaine smoker that I could be. And I'm like, what? At one point, I'm thinking, what are you doing? And then the last, I think, 7 years was the worst. Like, I think I had got to the point where I was okay with it. I got up every day. I lived in a house that I don't even remember washing. I remember that I had to come to grips with that I swore by God, oh my God, I don't trick. But then when I got clean, it was like, how can you say you're not tricking when you slept with guys that if you were sober, you know damn well you wouldn't have slept with them, man. And they offered you stuff, but even though you saying that you're not tricking, you turned around so you could look at their face. That's tricking. I might have had my own place and I might not have walked the street, but I tricked with them. And that's some real stuff. I tricked with them. I tricked. And I had this one guy that I messed with for 10 years. 10 years. And even though he said he loved me, he did not love me. He had a woman. And every time he told me to come and and meet up with him, he had me an 8 ball of Coke, he had me some liquor, and he had me $20. I was his biggest trick.
So would you say that's how he was controlling you?
Yes. And I had to think about that too. It was a lot. And I got to the point where I remember my last year, every night after whenever people left, because my house was like the biggest crack house in Annapolis, that I used to pray to God every night, the Lord's Prayer. And after 16 years of being down in Town 20, my house finally got busted. And then I remember, so I ended up trying to kill myself. And the strap broke. And I had 9 staples in the back of my head. And the lady had woke me up. And she asked me, because I had this ring that was an emerald. And she was like, when is your birthday? And I was like, because I knew my birthday was coming up. And I was asked her, and I said, well, what is today? And so she said, today's May 3rd. So I was like, today is my birthday. And I remember, so at first she didn't believe me, so she went and looked at my chart. And then she came back and she was like, here's some extra snacks, because today is your birthday. And so I remember thinking in my head, out of all the scenarios. And so then I remember, excuse me, just thinking about it. So I remember thinking that God had saved me, and me keep saying the Lord's Prayer, delivering me from evil. He had delivered me from evil, and that's why my house got busted. And I was asking him, so he did for me what I couldn't do for myself. And that it was time. It was time that I made some changes.
So with you going through everything you was going through, did you ever at any time feel as though you like lost faith? Like just didn't care about anything that was going on in the world?
Every day. Every day. I never brushed my hair. I didn't brush my teeth. I remember dealers coming over, like they cared about me, I want to say, in a sense, because I did try to keep my house clean because they needed a smoke place, right? And then I did try to have some self-respect as far as like certain things that I did, to, if you say, to a certain extent. And then I just remember them like sitting down, talking to me, and they just be like, cause they call me Bags, and they was like, Bags, do you think it's time you get in the shower? But my days would just go like, cause I would be up for so many days at a time, and like I would swear by God that I'm gonna miss something by somebody knocking on my door. That I would sit at a table all day, and the days would just go to nights, and the nights would just go to the next day. And sometimes I would fall asleep at that table. Like, oh my God, thank you. That I would just not get in the shower. I would not get in the shower. Like, who does that? Who does? And the shower's like literally 50 feet away. And not take a shower, not change my clothes, not do nothing.
So for the people out there that hasn't experienced these type of things, haven't never seen a crack house and everything, what is a crack house? What would you say?
Um, what would I consider a crack house? A house that's just always open to smoke, I guess. What do you consider a crack house? I didn't consider my house a crack house until after I moved out of the house. A house this is what I consider a crack house. A person that's selling stuff outside and they be like, oh, where do you go smoke? I know a place you can go smoke. Come on, let me take you. That's a crack house. Let me take you. Do you know when I got clean and I would run into so many people and they'd be like, you don't remember me? Nah, I don't remember you. I was up your house, you know, I came up your house. And I'd be like, did I take your shit? Did I put you out? Because that's how I rolled. And I did not remember them. So, I don't know. That was a crack house. That was my house.
So is the saying true? You always looking for that feeling of that first hit?
I don't. No. I was just looking at. I just like saying hi. I don't think. I don't think that was the case for me. I was just like, I like just not feeling nothing.
So after you about 2 decades in, you said as far as you using the things, you started at around what? No, matter of fact, you said about 13 was the first time you experienced PCP, right?
I got high for 30 years.
Okay.
When I finished my journey of using, I got high for 30 years.
So as you're getting to that breaking point where you just feel like I'm done with this, like where was your mind at that time?
At the end, I was just tired. I was tired. I was tired of. You have to understand, my addiction, the end was, I always was a fighter all my life, but at the end, it was just constant chaos with me. I was always angry, 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 angry. I was always fighting. I was always in a war. It was always, I came outside. I was just fighting all the time. My life was just, I always thought the whole world was against me. And I just got tired. I was just tired of feeling like that. I got tired of feeling alone. I could be in a room with 30 to 40 people. I could be in a room, I could be at the Capitol Center or whatever center it is, and it could be 1,000 people, and I still felt alone, just alone. And I didn't want to feel alone anymore.
So during this time that you're using, how many family members, like how many relationships did like went sour for real?
All of them. My mom, in the end, I think because she was getting older, she started coming back around. She started doing things like she would come up, see me, bang on the door. Everybody in the neighborhood knew her. If I told her I didn't wash my clothes, I have cigarettes, she she'd give me money. I would feel bad. I would start to feel bad if I didn't use it towards cigarettes or something. One thing about me is I really didn't ask my family for anything. My family, like, they would like try to come and get me, take me to cookouts. We have a real big family, and I always felt like I was like my family is kind of like not like Hasidity or something, but I was like the one who I started young doing drugs, so none of them were like me, like on the streets or nothing. Only me. So, but they all, as I got older, they always wanted to come get me, just to make sure I'm alright. And if I did, like go to cookouts or something, I would sleep because I was up for days. But as long as they see my face and knew I was okay. And then if I looked really, really bad, then I just wouldn't go. I wouldn't let them come get me.
So would you just make up an excuse or something? Just yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Or not answer the phone.
Right. Right. So now, with you being mixed with black and white, correct?
Uh-huh.
So, like, how was that with like the family? Did you see like one side treat you different when like you went
No.
to? Okay.
So my dad's mom took my mom in because my mother's side of the family don't like black people. They so they never really, except my mom's brother and my mom's sister, two sisters. Once she got pregnant, they booted her out the family.
Wow. Okay.
And I remember one time, because I'm the oldest, I always wanted to get to know them because I was a curious person, always been that way, nosy. And I found out where they lived, and I rode my bike there. And my grandfather came out, and he started screaming to get the little black kid off the lawn.
Right.
So one of my aunts called my other aunt, which is my dad's sister, and she came running up there, and she cussed all of them out, and then told me to get in the car and took me. So ever since then, it bothered me at that time.
Yeah.
So I think that also spiraled a lot of different things. But once my mother she decided to keep me, she knew that she was giving up her whole family. And her and my dad, I always wondered how, but she said she loved my dad for who he was, not the color of his skin. And they had been together since the 7th grade.
Yeah.
Because I was like, how do you get raised to not like black people, but fall in love with a black man? I guess they say once you go black, you never go back. And that's how it happened.
So rehabilitation, as far as you just getting back to getting clean and everything like that, can you kind of take us through that process? Like what day you woke up like, forget this is it, like this is it, I'm done.
So when after I tried to kill myself, I kept saying over and over again, God had saved me for a reason. But that's not when it happened. I had to touch the waters one more time. So when I touched the waters after that, it just didn't feel right. So then I was telling my mom because it hurt my mom really, really bad. And now, you know, I'm starting to feel stuff for some reason. It's like it's bothering me. Like before when I was getting high, like all my life, I don't care. Like I don't care what anybody thinks because I feel like it's only hurting me. And so this time it's like when I went back to get high, I felt like I had to hide it. And I was like, I never had to hide anything I ever did. I was always an open book. And if I gotta hide something and I'm a grown woman, then it's just not for me anymore. I never felt like I had to lie about anything. I never felt like I had to hide anything. So I started just looking for somewhere to go. And I was like, and then I just started just doing it and doing it. And so at first I was facing charges and I had went to a place, it was like a church place, and that place was not, it wasn't for me. I didn't believe in nothing that they were doing. I totally believe in God. And then I came back home. And so then test the waters again. I'm like, no. And then I went, I contacted Lacey Hare. And so I told Lacey Hare, like, Miss Lacey, please help me. Because I'm on disability, and disability with that insurance, you couldn't go into a place because it's Medicare, whatever, the two different ones. So she got me into Hope House. When I got into Hope House, they told me I only could have 21 days and they were getting ready to send me home. And so I begged Miss Leslie, I said, Miss Leslie, please don't send me home. I was like, I've been getting high for 30 years. If you send me home, I feel like I might get high again. And I was like, send me somewhere for a year. This time I'm done, but I don't know nothing else but to use. And I'm afraid. And so she sent me to Crystal's house. And then I went there and they said, your way didn't work. Try something different. And when they told me to do 90 and 90, I did 120 and 90. When they told me, at first I just was sitting around doing nothing. I went to the best culinary arts program. And I just started, like, my journey I just started doing things that I thought that I always wanted to do. I started setting little goals for myself every day. And I started doing like things that I couldn't even imagine. I started praying every day. And the first thing I did for me was I looked in the mirror every day in the morning. And I always tell ladies this, for 6 months straight. And when I got up, I looked in the mirror and I said, Cassandra White, you cannot smoke PCP and cocaine for the rest of your life. Please know this. You are better than this. You can do this. And then I wrote down everything I wanted to do. I said, work on your mental health and your substance abuse together. So I contacted a mental health therapist and I started working on both of them together. I got on the medication that I needed. At first they put me on too much. I had got up to 300 pounds because I was just wanting to eat. And then I'm like, what? Well, first I was okay with it because I was like, everybody gonna know I'm clean now because I'm big as a house, you know? So I'm like, what is going on here? And then all of a sudden, because when I was using, I was like, all right, don't no man want me. Because, cocaine and PCP was really my man. We had threesomes together. But then, so at first I was like, I wanted to date everybody. And they was like, oh, you look so good. I'm like, you want my number? So, you know how that went. At first I had all these different men and I'm like, hold up. Now you becoming a hoe in recovery. This ain't working. So that didn't work. So then I got addicted. So I started getting addicted to everything. Listen to this. I got addicted to scratch-offs. Next thing you know, I'm at the bank every morning getting $80 at the bank. Then I'm getting addicted to steak and cheese, McDonald's. I'm trying to substitute everything I can besides the drugs.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, we got to start this back over. We got to go back to ground zero. I mean, everything. So then I get a little money in my pocket because now I want to come off disability. I want all the tennis shoes because you got all the tennis shoes. Listen to this. So then I put me a little goal. I buy my first little car. It was only $1,000.
That's all you got, yeah.
So I'm proud of me. I got me my first car by me. So I goes to the mall. Now check this out. Go to the mall. I got to look good because everybody else look good. I got me a little car. I spent $300 on the outfit. Go out and get in the car. Damn gas light, come on. No money to put in the gas. I said, oh shit, I felt like I got high. I said, hold up. Now I gotta write this whole plan over again. I'm like, wait a minute. So I'm saying all that I have to learn how to live now.
Right.
I never knew how to live. And that's how my whole process has been for 8 years. I've been doing all of this for 8 years. Do you know the most profound things have been happening to me in 8 years? I have even learned that I don't even know how to date a man. For 8 years, all of these things have been happening to me. I even realized that I found myself last year feeling like I wanted to die in recovery because I lost my mom suddenly, and then I focused on nothing but trying to learn how to take care of my dad. And then I watched him die. Every day I'm going to work, taking care of him all night, but I've been taking my power, my pain, and turning it into power. And I refuse to go backwards, and I'm just living day by day and thanking God for every day. And I look at each pain and try to see what lesson I get from it. My mom's death helped me learn a better relationship from my dad, and I became a beautiful daughter for her because I heard him tell the nurse, I don't need you to do that for me. I got my daughter to do that. you know?
Yeah.
And me and my sister was able to build our strong relationship and work with my dad. And then I just kept hiding all that pain. And then I just kept trying to find men to love me, and then I'm still messing with drug dealer men. And saying all that to say, and I'm hoping all of this will help somebody, because I still wasn't working on me. I'm thinking, oh, I still want to be on this side of the road because I'm not good enough for the road that I'm on with a relationship part. So that's saying all that is that I'm thinking, because I didn't think that I was good enough for a man to learn who I am. That as soon as a man find out, oh, I have this past, or that I got fake teeth, or better yet, the only way that you gonna like me is that you say hi, I say hi, and we good in bed, that you my boyfriend. That's how it was always supposed to be all my life. But that's not how it is. So I have to learn how to let someone get to know me. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So again, I had to get a lesson and drop back down to ground zero. And I decided to do all that. So I went back to therapy and I set goals again for myself. I set myself to go back to college. Everything new for me. So I got one more class, and God willing, I'll be an addiction counselor, and I'll
Yes, I got you for them fellas.
thank you. And I'll be graduating, and hopefully in 2 years with my associates, and I hope that I can help ladies just like me, help men just like me, and tell them that, if you're not okay, nothing else around you is going to be okay. Nothing else around you is going to be okay. And that's where you got to start. You got to start within you.
So what's some advice you would give to that young girl that's out there right now just lost? She in and out in them crack houses right now, just like living on the streets, getting pregnant, not going home. Like, what's some advice you would give to them?
That you're not alone. I think that I stayed out there so long that thinking that I was alone, that you're not alone. You're not alone, and that there is hope, and you can do it, and you don't have to stay out there. I was fighting with thinking that I wasn't worthy. You are worthy. You are worthy.
So do you have any shout outs you want to give to anybody that's helped you along the way?
My main supporter has always been my sister. My sister has been there for me no matter what. My sister has been there. My Aunt Tootie has been there. Danisha Green has always looked at me no matter what, as a human being, and so has Chanel Parker. And my recovery friends, I want to thank Alex and Crystal and Shannon Stewart.
I just want to thank you, Sandy, for coming out today and just blessing us with this interview. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's your man, Location Chef, and as you can see, we had to bring it back home today. We had to touch the soil, because we representing with Small City Big Dreams Annapolis, the #1 nonprofit organization in Annapolis and the surrounding areas. And even though we at home today, it's not just about us. We got love for everybody, providing vital resources to all 7 low-income communities. Everything from drug and alcohol treatment, after-school resources, job placement resources, turkey drives at Thanksgiving, toy drives at Christmas, and so much more. Again, we understand how poverty can create barriers for everybody, but we will not let that get in the way. Again, Small City, Big Dreams, Annapolis. Look for us on Instagram, SCBD Annapolis. Also, look forward to that Big Stepper series. We're moving around the community. We're getting with the individuals that's making things happen, servicing the youth. The Big Stepper, so to speak. So again, we look forward to getting with y'all. Y'all get with us. Until then, SCBD. It's nothing. We do no bluffing.